have goals, and it's time you reached them faster. You have dreams, and it's time you make them a reality. Massive life transformation starts now. It's Tampa Bay's performance power couple, certified coach and performance specialist Dana Medlin and certified coach and behavior analyst Michael Medlin. Get ready to transform your actions. It's time for the Action Hour.
Welcome to the Action Hour. I'm Dana Medlin, and by my side, as always, is my husband and co-host, Mr. Michael Medlin. Hi, Mr. Medlin.
Hey, my love. How you doing over there?
I am feeling, not aside from the fact that I'm feeling a little under the weather, I'm feeling calm but inspired today.
We're kind of flip-flopping. I mean, oddly enough, I'm feeling rather feisty and ready to go.
I can relate for sure. But we are switching things up today, so it's going to be a completely different type of show. And, you know, I'm excited about that because you know how much I love change.
Who is this I'm talking to? Not exactly what you're known for.
No, true story. But anyway, we're excited about our guest today, Trulieve, because we've got so much to talk about. We've got so many questions. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the other reason that we're switching things up today is because, Medlin, I'm ready to get real with people.
Yeah.
Like, I am ready to let it all hang out and tell people what we're really doing here.
I've been wanting to do this show for quite some time. I mean, when I was a former behavior analyst, I was blocked from saying anything about cannabis and CBD. The board freaks out if you say a word about it. So, you know, now I'm free and I'm really, ready to get into this. And I've also been slightly going off at home and you know why.
I do know why.
I've just gotten to a point. I'm so tired of the coaching profession, self-help, the TV quote unquote experts. They're all, peddling pseudoscience and passing it off as real.
Yeah. Though many of our clients, they've told us, especially recently, that they really love the fact that we don't sugarcoat. We don't baby them. They say that they feel a connection to us because we're actually authentic and real. We even talk openly about our flaws and mistakes, as a means to educate and coach. So our clients who have heard the show, they've been asking for us to do that more on the show.
Right.
So here we are. You asked and we're listening.
And they need to watch what they were wishing for there. I mean, let's be frank. We're not going to be that overly harsh because it's entertaining bald psychologist, from TV.
Oh my goodness.
You knew who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do indeed. Don't you dare say his name.
Yeah, I don't have enough money to say his name. But we aren't going to be fluff either. I mean, there has to be science behind it. And, there's some of these newer shows that, believe you can take a breath and say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to be fluff without science either. You think people got that reference?
I think some did, yes. And so let's not go there. We're not going there today, Medlin. So let's start with who we are, right? We are the own your crap and take responsibility for your actions coaches.
Yes, we are.
We free people from the prison of perceived helplessness. You don't have to rely on anything other than yourself. And other people are going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you it's someone else's fault. They're going to allow you to place blame. Bump that. We're going to tell you straight up, it's you. But we're also going to tell you and show you how to fix, how to make corrections and how to move beyond whatever it is holding you back. And it doesn't matter if it's business or personal, because the techniques that we coach on, they apply to every aspect of your life.
And I'm so glad you said that, because my personal pet peeve right now is all the coaches and the self-help gurus who like to tell you things like, it's your body fighting against you, or it's your mind working against you. You are your body.
Exactly.
You are your mind.
Exactly.
They love to try to make it out that somehow you're a victim of biology or society or something else in order to not take responsibility for your life. In reality, your life is what you designed and the effort you put in. There's nothing magical or biological that's working against you.
Absolutely. So what we tell you is, why not learn some behavior change techniques so you can change the stuff in your life that doesn't work for you anymore, or learn behavior change techniques so that you can start living on your own terms and with your own set of values. Now here's the thing. Many of our clients, they've told us that they love the fact that we break things down to the ridiculous.
Very small, yeah.
Yes. They say that the steps they take to make those lasting changes, they aren't hard. In fact, they're really simple. But our clients appreciate that we hold them accountable to doing the steps. We don't work with anyone who isn't ready to actually do the work, because that is, in fact, what makes it hard, is you have to do the work. It's action-based coaching.
And if a coach is telling you that all you have to do is follow this one easy step, or I have a trick, or the more popular life hack to make this easy, I'm here to tell you that behavior change, it's hard. It takes work, but hiring an expert like us makes the difference. I mean, people run to what's easy because, life is already hard.
Yeah.
And we've been told by our marketing team, don't tell people that it's hard. You're going to scare them off.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, it is what it is. Here's my promise. Call us and we'll show you how hard it is. And then we're going to show you how small and how easy of steps we can break it down to.
Yes.
And if you can't, let's say you can't stand up one day. Then we'll modify the plan for your first step to be seated. I'm serious. No matter how small of a step forward, we're going to find that way.
And that's the other thing. There's no one size that fits all. What works for you isn't going to work for me. So if there's a cookie cutter system that you're following now, then recognize that it may not be the right plan for you. Everybody needs something tailored to who you are as an individual. That's what we do.
Yeah, behavior change is extremely hard. Those cookie cutter systems, they're made to sell books. You're making millionaires out of people who are just throwing a bunch of crap at the wall and hoping some of it sticks.
It's a little harsh, Medlin.
Well, it is true, because think about it. All the books, they're so generalized, and it's so that it can actually fit, their agenda.
So here's an example of what we're talking about, right? So maybe you're someone who's on their 12th diet plan and you're still not seeing success. Have you started asking yourself why, right? That New Year's resolution that you made, where are you at on that? You want to be a better parent or spouse or employer, but not quite sure how or where to start. Or maybe you're working a job or you own a business, you have a career, and you're not truly happy or have that feeling of fulfillment. Ask yourself why you haven't made that change. Because here's the thing. It's not that people don't want to change. Most of us just don't know how to do it, right? And I'll tell you, when I started figuring out how to do it, it caused me, Medlin, I went back to school to study human behavior because true to science, it just works.
And the thing that I want to ask people is why? Why are you okay with not feeling as healthy as you could? Why are you okay with another year of failed New Year's resolutions? Are you truly willing to live just in another year of your life on this planet, in a job or a career that you don't love?
Yeah.
Why are you not worth a life filled with purpose and passion? Clients tell me every day that they are stressed out, that they're tired, that they want more, but it's always, the but.
The buts.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm here to tell you, stress is your body's physical representation of your spirit's discontent.
Ooh, I love that, Medlin. It's such a powerful and true statement. Our clients love the fact that they can get past their butts with us.
And the thing is, if you listen to your stress, in one of our episodes, we talked about how to use stress as that guiding internal tuning fork, and then how to overcome the fear to move forward. There's not an obstacle we can't overcome. And if you want it bad enough and you're willing to wait and put in the work.
Oh, patience. Patience is key during the process of behavior change. Yeah, but so is consistency.
And we may not be able to make all the changes immediately, but if every step you take now, it's one less step that you have to take later. I've always said I can grind through any problem in life as long as I have a destination I'm moving forward toward.
Yep. So what's your destination? Because if you have an action plan with a detailed process, it may take a little while to get there and to reach your goal, but you're guaranteed to reach it because, again, science doesn't lie. And we're telling you, we can show you how to do it.
And when you make your plan, do you consider the environment? Do you consider, antecedent interventions?
Do most people even know or understand what antecedent interventions are? We do, but,
what behavior changes will you need? What skills will you need to develop? What support structures that you need to have in place? Did you revise your plan after you had your first failure? Do you know how? My favorite quote is actually by Mike Tyson, who said, "Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face."
Oh, my goodness. A punch in the face, if that doesn't paint a picture.
Life's going to do that to you.
That's true.
What is your plan afterward? We can really help with that. We can adapt the plan. We can adapt the adaptations.
Yep.
Life doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Indeed. So let's talk about our process for a minute. So when we start working with a new client, we start with a consultation just to get to know you. What are your goals? We want to understand where you are right now at this time time in your life. We want to understand your why or your motivation for change. And that's going to be really important during the transformation process, because inevitably we're going to need to remind you of why you're going through this process now and why you chose to do this at this time in your life. Then we get to work.
Yeah. And I mean, just like all true scientific endeavors, there's a series of tests or trials that we use, and we may have to try any number of approaches to identify the system. Mm-hmm. And always remember, if you're looking for deep answers, just know that we can show you where to dig, but we're not picking up the shovel for you. The work is for you to do.
The work is for you to do. All right, Medlin. So when we come back, we've got the very first medical marijuana dispensary in Florida, Trulieve. And we've got a lot of questions, and these ladies are knowledgeable and awesome enough to answer them all. Then later, we've got a very special Behave Yourself. Michael and I are getting really personal in answering some listener questions about our relationship. It's an eye-opening day on the Action Hour, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Turn heads this summer with the help of Medi Weight Loss. Lose up to 20 pounds the first month with a medically supervised weight loss program that's tailored to meet your specific needs. Their team of trained medical professionals will guide you, ensuring that you lose the weight and keep it off. Get started today. Call 877-MED-LOSS and book your free assessment. That's 877-MED-LOSS. Locations Tampa, Brandon, and Lutz. On average, patients on individualized restricted calorie program lose 6.4 pounds the first week and 14 pounds the first month. Medical supervision required.
Welcome back to the Action Hour. Our guest today, it was the very first medicinal marijuana dispensary in Florida. And medicinal marijuana, I mean, it's been a long time in coming, and Trulieve was the first. So welcome. Joining us from Trulieve today is Skylar Hunt, Victoria Walker, and Emily. Emily, I don't know your last name.
Last name's Wood.
Yeah, last name is Wood. And Emily Wood. And then here, let me grab Victoria on the line. Hello, Victoria. Are you there?
I am.
Excellent. Well, welcome, ladies, to the Action Hour. We're really excited to have you on today. So, Trulieve was the first medical marijuana dispensary in Florida, yes?
Yes.
Yes, that's such a huge feather in your cap. But what I don't understand, and I wish that I'm glad you guys are here to explain to listeners, like, why can't you as a dispensary, if it's legal, why can't you advertise? I mean, it's not federally legal, but what are the parameters? Because before we get into this interview, I don't want to get anybody, including ourselves, in any kind of trouble, so let's lay those parameters out.
Well, it really comes down to kind of being an industry standard. So in most medical states, in a lot of recreational states, they don't want to put a lot of advertising out there because there's still fear.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they can't control is saying, okay, fine, we'll make it available, but we're not going to allow you to run pharmaceutical style commercials on every channel.
Isn't that ridiculous? Because it's the pharma commercials that, you see those, and the list of side effects caused by whatever it is they're peddling is far worse than whatever ailment you have that's causing you to take it. And here is medicinal marijuana, here to cure everything and everybody, but we can't tell anybody. Like, that's so crazy. How long did it take to get past all of the legislation in order to bring a dispensary to Florida?
Well, it took a long time. So
yeah.
The process started in 2014, where they started entertaining first just the CBD, getting it close to being on the ballot. It didn't pass again in 2016. And so then all we really had was the Right to Try Act, which was CBD only. Mm-hmm. Then when it made the ballot in 2017, Florida was then ready. And that's very normal in a lot of states where they try and fail and try and fail. And then finally they're able to bring enough awareness to it that people understand what they're voting for.
Right.
Or even know that it's an option to be voted for, and really kind of getting people to come out to the polls.
Now, once it was actually passed, I mean, what was your experience? Were doctors immediately on board with the concept of prescribing, or?
Well, it's actually a very funny story. So the night that it passed, we kind of got excited and anticipated that we'd have a really busy day at our dispensaries the next day because we had a couple of stores open. Mm-hmm. And, still kind of crickets, right? Because nobody really knew what that meant. And a lot of times, in elections, when you do vote on something and it passes, there's still so much work to be done to create the rules around it. So it didn't go into effect until this summer following that election. And so doctors were still very hesitant because while it had passed, they hadn't really developed these governing rules for physicians. And so it was a gray area for a long time.
Yeah.
And doctors do not like to participate in anything that's gray.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to protect your license and all that. I definitely see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but why? Here's a question down the doctor path. Why is it called an authorization or a recommendation versus a prescription?
Prescription is really something that's reserved for pharmaceuticals and drugs that are regulated by the FDA. And since cannabis is not, and there isn't any real protocols that these physicians can follow, similar to prescriptions that have gone through, numerous clinical trials and studies and are backed by research, we don't have that. And so they can't really classify it as a prescription because it doesn't fit into that definition. And so that's why it's a general recommendation, very similar to your doctor recommending a certain diet or exercise or vitamin regimen. It's just not really, there's not the science behind it that they can classify it that way.
Wow. And the thing is, there is a lot of science behind it. Oh my goodness. This makes me, I'm excited and I'm happy that, it's that legalization has taken place and, the medicine is getting to the people that need it the most. And that's all great. But man, all of the hoops and the hurdles that, companies like yourselves have to go through just to bring this product to, mainstream and to the people. Oh, as a consumer, as a citizen, it's upsetting because it should be a lot easier to access. Yeah. Like, how does someone even become a patient?
That's really the hard question that people don't know. And I get asked that all the time. Just like people walking down the street, a lot of my friends, how do we even get access to this? Because there's not a lot of information and you have to dig through the internet. And we all know that that's a black hole of misinformation.
Right.
But in Florida, there are only a certain number of doctors that can actually recommend this for you. Mm-hmm. There are around 2,000 of those in the state of Florida. So you have to find those, which is not easy.
Yeah.
We have a tool on our website where you can find a doctor, but then they have to come to our website, and we can't actually advertise and tell them that. So I think that's part of the challenge is someone might see it on the news, and we use outlets like this, the news, as much as we can to say all you need to do is go to Trulieve.com, click Find a Doctor, go to the Department of Health's website. The Office of Medical Marijuana Use also has those doctors listed, but it's very difficult because if you're just sitting at home going, I wonder if this could help me, and you just start Googling, you'll eventually get there, but it can be very frustrating to find information.
And people might have a tendency to give up their search if it's too hard to find. So no, we're honored and thrilled to have all of you ladies on the show today. Emily and Skylar, jump in here. Like, for example, how would you respond to people that still say after all of this research, they still say that cannabis is a gateway drug? Like, how do you respond to that?
I'd respond to that with the proof is in the pudding. So we every Tuesday we put out what's called a true story, and these can be found on all of our social media channels, in our YouTube account. And these are real patients who come to us who really want to talk about how cannabis has helped them find relief. So I'd start there.
I love that. Yeah, because
it's so frustrating too, because I was a behavior analyst and I worked with children with autism, and there were so many of my clients that actually had something like micro-seizure disorders. Now, you can't say that CBD or cannabis cures micro-seizure disorder, but we can say that there's scientific proof that kids that take it have a lower occurrence of seizures. But as a behavior analyst, as a licensed professional, I was not allowed to say it. I could leave a little literature around, and if they found it, yay, but I couldn't actually say it. So I get where you're coming from.
Oh, it's crazy. In the past, there have been a lot of industries that have donated to politicians to keep cannabis illegal, right? I mean, there's big pharma, there's, all kinds of things. But now we're seeing CBD and THC-based synthetic medications coming out from the very people who started the opioid epidemic. I mean, can one of you shed some light as to why synthetic marijuana medications are being made federally legal, and yet the natural grown flower is a Schedule I narcotic?
I mean, that's kind of the conundrum, right?
Yeah.
Like, how could we... It's the same thing when you start talking about our food and our diet, right? So the government allowed for so many years us to genetically modify our food and to kind of walk away from that natural farmer growing our vegetables and turn it into factories. So that's also their approach to medicine, because that way they can regulate it more. It's more controlled. We don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's not that big pharma or modern medicine has not done some wonderful things, right? Because there are obviously advances in medication that we need in our society, but there's got to be a balance, and I just don't know, when we're gonna reach that balance.
Now, if a client wants just pure flower, they don't want synthetic, they don't want to have to buy something from big pharma, and I don't know if you guys can answer this or not, but I mean, Trulieve, my understanding, has pure flower. It doesn't go through a process; it's just flower. Didn't
flower become legal? Like, when did that happen?
This past March, which is huge for us.
Yeah, so, I'm sure.
And back to the your question about synthetics, Trulieve provides a third-party lab test for every single product we put on our shelves.
Nice.
So every product has a batch number on that. And with that batch number, you can go to our website, type it in, and you can find a full report on that product itself. So you know what you're getting in every product from Trulieve.
Yeah. So we test within, and then we test outside as well.
I love that.
So you have independent verification.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the way, absolutely, that's the way that people should be able, that's the information that should be available for any medication, that we're taking.
Because I don't think you see very many, big pharma doesn't exactly put a label and say, hey, this is where this was grown, and this is what it was in, and this is how
we try to be as transparent as possible. So
I think that's key. Yeah. That's tremendous. So where are Trulieve locations? Where are you guys locally? And then where are you? How many locations do you have statewide right now?
So we have...
We're on... Oh, sorry.
I love it. So much enthusiasm. Yay.
We're in St. Pete. We're on 4th Street North in St. Pete. And then we've got 30 additional locations around the state and 2 more that we plan to open up hopefully next week.
Wow, next week. Where are those locations at?
Port Charlotte and down in the Keys, actually, in Key West.
You've got to come to Brandon, where we hang our heads. So.
We're working on it. Absolutely working on it. Brandon is just an area of massive growth, so obviously it's a no-brainer to get over there. So it's definitely on our list. Absolutely.
Excellent. I cannot wait. So we've got a lot more questions for you ladies. I'm so excited that you're here. And one of the questions I'm going to ask after I think we ask all of ours is, what didn't we ask? What should we know? So just be prepared to download us on what we don't ask. But this is tremendous. I'm looking forward to when we come back from the break, because we're going to dig a little deeper with our Trulieve guests today. So stick around. We'll be right back. I think we can all admit that adulting can be hard, but don't let stress and personal difficulties keep you from living your best life. At Actions Transform, our behavior coaches can teach you to break unhealthy habits and give you the tools you need to achieve your personal and professional goals. You have everything to gain. Call Actions Transform today at 813-444-2282 or visit us at actionstransform.com. Remember, dreams inspire, but actions transform. Welcome back to the Action Hour. Our guests today are from the very first medical marijuana dispensary in Florida, Trulieve. And we're so happy to have you ladies here. And before the break, we were talking about, the legalities of, why you can't advertise and, were doctors cooperative and the difference between authorization versus prescription and all of that. And now, so let's dig a little deeper. So there's the Willie Nelson generation, right? Then there's the Snoop Dogg generation.
That's mine.
Right? That's us. Now there's the Colorado generation because they're growing up in a time where marijuana is legal in this country. So in your dispensaries, in your business, do you notice a generation gap in the patients that frequent your dispensary?
Absolutely. I will say just because Florida in and of itself is an older population, and we are more medical, our average patient is 50 plus. So very much the Willie Nelson consumer. And they love flower. They love smoking flower. It's 50% of our sales currently. So it's very much something that they probably remember or had experienced a long time ago.
Woodstock.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've got some of your Snoop Dogg generation for sure.
Yeah.
It is, they do have to have, I will say it's not extremely easy for anybody to just go get a medical card like you have seen in other states because Florida regulates it pretty heavy from the condition standpoint, and the doctors do take it very seriously. But it doesn't mean that younger people don't have debilitating illnesses as well, and PTSD and high anxiety and things like that. So you see it all.
Yeah, that's you bring up a good point, Victoria. How does someone go about getting an MMJ card? Like, what kinds of conditions are eligible to get on the marijuana directory or
registry?
Registry, that's what it's called.
Yeah, there are about 10 specific, very, very severe and specific, right? So your cancer, ALS, Crohn's, HIV/AIDS. But there are a couple conditions that the legislature put in there that help people who don't necessarily classify into those conditions but are still pretty debilitating. So one is a similar or like. So if you've got anxiety, for example, and it's very debilitating, they can relate that back to PTSD, which is a qualifying condition.
Okay.
Right. Maybe you've never been diagnosed with PTSD, but you certainly suffer from a lot of the symptoms and conditions that come along with that. So there is an area for doctors to use their best judgment, and I will say they take that very seriously, and they do really work with people to make sure that they're not just saying no because it's not on that blatant list. And then there is a pain condition, kind of a pain condition that can relate back to one of those instances that also could be that other. So if you were in a really bad car accident 10 years ago and you've got bad back pain, that can qualify, right? Because
I resemble that remark, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they definitely have opened it up. I know we did a lot of, and Emily can maybe elaborate on this because it's something she's passionate about, but we were really hoping to get an opioid addiction or an opioid dependency qualification on there for people who are addicted to opioids to help them wean off of those.
That would be tremendous.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, we noticed, looking over your social media and all that, you do a lot of outreach to different organizations. My brother, unfortunately, about 8 years ago, passed away from ALS, and that's when I became an advocate for medicinal marijuana. Can you talk to me a little bit about your outreach program and how you do education? Since you can't advertise, what are you doing out in the community?
Yeah, to get the word out.
Yeah, so we partner with a lot of nonprofits, specifically ones that work with qualifying conditions. So the ALS groups, the cancer organizations, so breast cancer awareness, HIV/AIDS. So we look for those nonprofits, partner with them, go in and educate their clients because we can say, hey, you have this qualifying condition. You're eligible for medical marijuana card. Here's the information. Because what we're finding is all of these clients are interested in getting their card. They go to their physician. I would like to become a patient. Their doctor says, well, I'm all for it, but I don't have any information for you. So then it just kind of ends from there.
Yeah.
So by us partnering with these organizations, it's a great way for us to say, this is what we can help you with. Here are the ways that you can get your card. We can help you find physicians per our website with the Find Your Doctor. So that's one of our main ways, especially for patients. And then we also do a lot of Chamber of Commerce stuff. So I'll join the Chambers of Commerce across the state. So those are just a few.
And that's where our physician education team comes in behind Skylar.
Yeah.
Ooh, talk to us about your physician education team. I like that.
Victoria can talk to this about this too. Also, we have about 10 reps across the state in all different regions who literally go door to door educating physicians because a lot of them are curious and want to know and how to help because they are having patients, like Skylar said, coming to them and asking. And so our database does have the registry, the Department of Health registry has about 2,000 physicians and it's growing every day. And so
these are physicians that are able to make or write, make recommendations. But even the physicians that don't write the recommendations, they still need resources because they have to know who to refer to so that patients don't fall by the wayside.
Yeah, and another thing too is they didn't learn this in medical school.
Right.
You know, so we have to go in and educate them on our products and what products will help your patient that has pain and what product will help your patient that has anxiety and epilepsy and different things like that. So
yeah, because there's a lot of confusion out there in the general public about, marijuana, cannabis, hemp, the terpenes and,
CBD.
Exactly. So talk to us a bit about maybe some differentiation or how do people know what to look for when they have these qualifying conditions? What is it that you're educating these doctors on?
Well, the first thing, and this is where it gets really difficult, is everybody's experience, even with the same product and the same condition, is going to be different.
Okay.
So there are some guidelines, obviously. We know CBD is very good for epilepsy. And that's just a lot of just patient testimonials from that. So I recommend all patients have CBD all the time. It's just a great non-euphoric thing that your body is craving.
Absolutely. I know I use it for my arthritis, and I notice that when it's about to rain in the past, like my joints would, swell up and I'd feel the pain. With CBD, I don't feel anything and there's no inflammation. It really is amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so we talk to doctors about educating patients on the benefits of CBD. I mean, everybody can benefit from CBD is my motto. And there isn't that fear associated with the euphoric effects that come along with THC. But on the same breath, THC is incredibly important because it's a very big component of the plant. And a lot of very severe conditions need the THC for the healing properties. And there's all kinds of varieties from capsules to vape carts to whole flower, to things more of our Colorado vibes, right? Our shatter, crumbles, concentrates that get a little more kind of technical on how they're made.
Wow.
And then all kinds of different strain varieties that make you feel different things. And those are classified into those kind of generic indica sativas and hybrids.
Right.
And they all make you feel different. And we could all participate and use the same strain and just have different feelings. Like everything makes me tired.
Right.
Someone else will use a sativa and they feel very uplifted and energetic.
Right.
And I think that's just because my body is craving sleep. And theirs is when that pain goes away, they're able to finally get back to a normal activity. And so it's a really difficult journey. So we talk about that. We talk about starting low, going slow. We talk about trying different things. And then one of the things that we did from the beginning at Trulieve, because we knew this was going to be very complicated, was we have a 100% return guarantee.
Really?
So if you go home and you try something and you don't like it, or you didn't feel a good effect from it, or you're just not sure, bring it back and we try something else.
Wow. I love that because a lot of people, especially if you don't know what you don't know about the product, and trying it before you buy would be the next best thing or the best thing. But being able to bring it back and say, no, this didn't do for me what I thought it would. Let me try something else. That's amazing.
It really
I
is,
think that's going to entice more people to try. I'm going to Trulieve. Yep.
I mean, when we started to look at who would come on, so we really wanted to do this show for a while. We found your fans, they're just a different breed.
Yeah, the Trulievers.
The Trulievers.
Yes, we love our Trulievers.
They are fanatical about Trulieve, and I don't think you could get them to go someplace else. And hearing you talk about your product, talk about your guarantee, I can understand now.
So let's talk about your social media. What types of things are you doing on social media that's driving Trulievers to be so loyal?
Well, I think it's also cannabis in general.
Yeah, true.
But back to you earlier talking about flower. So on our social media, we post a lot of pictures of flower. And back to the transparency, I am the one who takes the pictures, edits them, puts them on social media. So we're a very personable brand too.
That's awesome.
So we show you inside, outside of our grows, our dispensaries, and we just like to communicate with the patients. I know our social media team's listening right now too, so shout out to them. They're so excited. But we also, with that, we run into a lot of regulations also on social media because the FTC and FCC regulate social media, and cannabis being a federally legal drug, they don't want anything to do with it.
Wow.
So we can post beautiful content.
Yes.
We just can't get into the weeds about it.
Right. But as Trulievers, as fans, we can get into the weeds about it.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
We have a great community group on Facebook too, and all patients and Trulievers talk. It's literally called Trulievers Official.
I love it. I love it.
It absolutely blows my mind too, because I don't know if our listeners know this, but cocaine and methamphetamine are a Schedule 2 narcotic.
And
But cannabis is considered to be a Schedule 1, which is supposedly more dangerous, even though there's never been a recorded death directly attributed.
Has there been anything other than like sleep and eating and pain relief associated with it? I mean, oh my goodness.
You'll take a good nap.
Yeah, right? I love
really
it.
hard.
Trulieve, ladies, please tell listeners where to find more information about Trulieve. How do they get in touch with you and take advantage of all of your locations and find doctors and all of that? Where can they go?
www.trulieve.com or any of our social media channels at Trulieve.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Loved having you here. There were so many more questions that we wanted to ask, so we're going to have to invite you back to come on again, and let's do round 2.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ladies. We'll be right back. Looking to tone, tighten, or enhance your body while still retaining a natural appearance? Then look no further than Dr. Pedro Solar. Dr. Solar uses a customized approach to cosmetic and reconstructive procedures to the face, body, and breast. Call or go online now to receive $500 off any cosmetic surgery. 813-878-9889. That's 813-878-9889. Reclaim your confidence and discover a new you. Welcome back to the Action Hour. Man, I didn't want that last segment to end.
I didn't either.
I mean, I've loved having Trulieve here. I don't want them to leave. I have so many more questions. All right, so it is time for Behave Yourself, and we've got a twist for today's Behave Yourself. We wrote a letter to our listeners. So, dear listeners, many of you have sent us messages with questions pertaining to our relationship. You've asked some very interesting and some rather personal questions.
Real personal.
But in the spirit of today's theme being open up and get real, we've decided to compile some of your various questions regarding our relationship and answer them on the air today. If we don't get to your particular question, we apologize, but please know that we value you as a listener or if you're a client, and we will get to your questions either on or off the air, but we will get to them. So, question number 1 that we've gotten several times is, how long have you two been married, and how long did you date before you got married?
Well, it's funny because people always ask us this question because we sound like an old married couple,
right? It's our
is,
souls that are old.
I mean, the truth is we're only coming up on our 3rd wedding anniversary.
We've only been married for 3 years.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 years.
In November.
Yeah. The 18th, yeah.
It feels longer than that, though.
We actually, we became a couple after our 5th date.
Yes.
And we just decided to stop seeing anyone else. And 6 months later, we were engaged.
Yeah.
We actually dated for 51 weeks before married.
51 weeks.
From first date to actual marriage,
date.
It was literally 51 weeks. And when you know it's right, it's right.
It is right, Mr. Medlin. All right, next question.
Do you guys ever fight? And if so, what about?
Hell yeah, we fight. Like what? Of course.
But our fights are productive.
Our fights are productive because we have learned through past relationships and even, trials and errors in our own relationship. We've learned how to communicate and keep the fight on the issue, on, the behavior, on the emotion, whatever it is. We keep the fight about that, and we don't fight dirty. Yeah, we don't go below the belt.
We have the 3 rules. We fight about the issue. We try to find win-win.
Yes.
And then the third one is we never say anything that we can't take back.
Exactly. In our fights, we're never seeking to hurt each other because we know that where our relationship is concerned, both of us are always going to come from a place of love. So, we fight. Are you kidding? As much time as we spend together? All right, next question. What does date night look like for you two?
Oh, we are so lame.
I know this answer is going to be really disappointing. I don't even know why we kept it because we're very boring. Date night for us is literally like red box and chill.
Carpet picnic.
Carpet picnic. Where we throw a blanket in the middle of the family room, and we're on the floor with all of our snacks. From popcorn to chips and fruit and cheese and
trying to keep the little baby pit bull there from eating all of it. No, I think people get confused because they see us. We go to a lot of events. Within our job, you have to socialize quite a bit. So we're constantly posting on social media. We're dressed up. We're going to a lot of events. They think that our life is that, and the truth is, the majority of our life is spent in pajamas on the floor eating food. Watching Redbox. So, our date night is not anything that would really all that exciting, unfortunately.
But we do enjoy it nonetheless. Okay,
so one of our top questions that we get all the time is, what is it like to work with, live with, and do everything with your wife?
It's not always easy, I'm sure.
People, they send us these questions and they try to dig because they're trying to find something. And I'll be honest, working with your best friend who is your wife, it's really not that tough. When I met Dana, it just immediately clicked. It's, when my hand touched hers, it just kind of felt like it was supposed to be that way. And so waking up every day.
I love that you're the mushy one sometimes.
Yeah, I am. But, the thing is, when I lost my first marriage, it was because I didn't tap into that mushy side of me. And so I promised that when I found the right woman that I wouldn't ever hold back again. So.
And Princess Dana loves it.
Yes, she does.
Does being an interracial couple ever pose an issue in your marriage?
I want to hop in on that one super quick. Because this is all right. I hate the term interracial.
You know what they mean.
My wife is a human. I am a human. We are both human. We are not of any different race. Yes, she is black. She is Panamanian. I am very, very white, but we are the same race. We are of different ethnicity. So I hate the term interracial couple.
Okay. Are you off your soapbox?
I'm off my soapbox.
Okay. So no, it doesn't pose an issue in our marriage, not for either of us, because we don't see each other as black or white. Like, we even make jokes about it. I tell him he needs some more sun sometimes, and I try to rub some of my melanin on him, and it doesn't work. So we make jokes like that. But unless someone's bringing it to our attention with looks or something. But in this day and age, it's not even really an issue. And my family's always been so incredibly diverse anyway that this looks normal to me. So it's never posed an issue.
You're both remarried. Are you friends with your exes? We talked about that on our third episode.
Yeah, we did. And here's the thing. I wouldn't say that me and my ex-husband are friends per se. We're not hanging out. We're not going on trips together. None of that's ever going to happen. But we know that because we made a human being together and we will always have our son in common, we are family and we'll always have each other's back, even if we can't hang out. So, all right. So is that all of our time?
Yeah, we got to go through the outro now.
Oh, man.
Short segment.
Man, we're going to have to go to a podcast as well because I want to keep talking. Like, this is fun. So if we didn't get to your question, we will try to do so next week. But for more information on performance coaching and behavior modification and for a complimentary consultation, visit us online at actionstransform.com or reach out to us at info@actionstransform.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and on Instagram at Actions Transform, and you can catch up on all of the shows you've missed by subscribing to our Actions Transform YouTube channel. Special thanks to our sponsors, Medi Weight Loss. Visit MediWeightLoss.com to learn more about their medically supervised weight loss program, and Dr. Pedro Solar, board-certified cosmetic and reconstructive surgeon. Visit our nonprofit partner of the month, AutismShifts.org, to learn what you can do to make a difference today. Well, that is our show for today. Special thanks to Skylar, to Victoria, to Emily from Trulieve, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm Dana Medlin.
And I'm Michael Medlin, reminding you that dreams inspire, but actions transform.